Alright. Hi ladies. Looking good. The chickens are out, hanging out over here right now. Oh, I'm cleaning up the yard there. I'm letting them hang out up here. And Nikki's over there. Nikki! She's over there by the compost in her own little area. And I'm not working or doing anything today on anything. I'm just enjoying the sun and being out here and the chickens. And so I was picking up things a little bit while I'm here, but there we go. I guess we'll show the quail real quick too. I play this on the live stream tonight since it's too dark at that time and I can't really show anything. And it's been too cold in the early mornings on my Sunday stream. But there's still a lot going on here, even though it's winter. Of course, with the birds, we got my second generation here. And they're in a little skirmish there. And then their eggs, which are the third generation. And then we got some other, my Shire birds there. And some jumbo browns down at the bottom. And then these little quails that I've moved out here. Now this was going to be my Roo bachelor pad. Eventually it will be. But right now it's really dirty. I need to come clean it. But there's some little guys in there. And little quaily. And so they were hanging out. These guys are hanging out. And so we got some of that going. So still enjoying the animals. And it's winter. It's chilly. But New Mexico has really, I guess, been able to skirt all this crazy weather in the country. So I guess that's nice. I think it's about 45 degrees right now. And so the garlic in here is doing really well. It's kind of hard to see, but it's overwintering well. And then I'm not going to show the back garden right now, but the wheat is doing all good still in there, overwintering, and onions. The grapes I've been trimming up. We're putting in another planter here that will house something, and then the new planter over here, which is going to have lavender and lemongrass. So Solo's got a stick. So this garden is, this year we have gotten the soil kind of how we want it, and so to start with, this is all mesa sand, so we've brought a lot in and done things. This year we've decided to cut the plants off just all at the tops, let the roots stay in the soil and compost, and then of course I've left the leaves and put straw everywhere. There's some cover crop a little bit here and there as well, and that is to insulate the ground and keep it from drying out and blown away. And then we'll end up coming in here. We're going to move these stones all around. We're going to put in some couple raised beds in other areas, and there we'll do, I believe it's called hubiculture. And then in some of the other areas we're going to practice some lasagna gardening. So we'll come in, do a little cover crop real early, and then put down some cardboard and then the compost and topsoil, and we'll get this garden going. We'll get the back garden going. I'm going to start another little one over where the trampoline is, and then let's see, got a few other things I guess still alive, and our hibiscus trees are, of course, will come back. And then I got lamb's ear and things down here. Over here is more garlic. Hopefully we have lots of garlic this year. And so we're excited. I'm getting just moseying around the yard, and over this next couple weeks getting it cleaned up and tidied up and ready to go for spring, because that will come before you know it. And then in a month or so we'll be getting seed starts going inside, and I'll be excited to show all of that. The wheat should finish coming in about March, so we'll harvest that, show all that, and then put corn and beans over there next. And in that whole back garden area we have a lot of other things. So I will let, who's this?
This is
It's Lily.
Alright, Lily. Oh.
She's very calm.
Look at her little head going.
Who's this?
And this is Nikki.
She hangs out here with us because the flock doesn't like her. She's a silky chicken.
She's very soft.
Who's this?
And this is Betty.
And that's a Betty egg? Maybe?
Her eyes are red. Betty! Oh, try to see. This is shocking.
Our most valuable animal on the urban homestead. This is Solo.
The MVP.
Say hi, Solo.
You got some eggs? Mom's got 2 chickens, Dad. Casey's chasing him.
Do you keep them in check? Solo will keep them in check.
Oh!
Can she get through there? I don't think so.
Oh.
Solo! Well, she did. Nikki, why are you in there?
Now,
Did she jump in there?
jumped out of my arms. Okay. Do you want to stay?
Goofy little chicken. Hey Chewy, did you come to join us? This is Chewy, also known as Julius Caesar. So we have Chewy and Solo. And Solo's jumped up on the mama.
Oh, here's Disney.
And I've been working in here. I'm building up this wall a little bit, and then there's going to be another little chicken house in here. So for Nikki for now, but if I need to separate them for later, put a doorway in through here. A lot of projects going on. Hanging out and enjoying it today.
She keeps picking up the leaf and throwing it down.
Shalom, y'all. He's just sitting there. I'm here.
Dad, you're supposed to make videos of me. Not that bird. Take your food. Alright, I gotta go to the phone.
Okay,
They get throwing around.
time to get going. All right. All right, well, hello, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed that little short little video just earlier today. Can everyone hear me? Can you see me okay? I'll give y'all a second. See if everyone can hear me all right. You can hear and you can see me. Okay, great. Awesome. Well, to all of you that know me, welcome back. Pleasure to see you again here this week. And if you don't, let's see, my name is Matt. I'm here with the Grafted Branch Urban Homestead here in the Southwest High Desert. And I like showing different DIY, skill sharing, gardening, cooking, some small animal husbandry, and just really other skills to move us more into a more of a self-sufficient, a healthier, a cleaner, and what I truly believe is a better life. And so I like to show all kinds of different things. This is Quail Shack Chat with Matt, although today I've decided to go fireside here. It's a beautiful evening, a full moon or nearly full moon there you can see out here on the urban homestead. So tonight it's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be quite as active in chat. I kind of just have some ramblings and some things I wanted to talk about and share. But hello, everyone that's in here. Let's see real quick. We got CDB. Thanks for showing up and moderating as always. J. Mary, last one's in here. Hey, y'all, she is back. Who else? Let's see. Verna's here. Hey, Verna, good to see you. Spice of Life, Renegade Black Sheep. Verna's saying, hey, Matt, are you going to grow amaranth. I am, and so we grew a lot of it this last year. Absolutely beautiful. And I wasn't so good at collecting, cleaning up all the seeds, so they kind of went everywhere. So I'm fully expecting to have amaranth coming out of my compost and all around it. And so tonight's video, I had labeled it Diversify Your Egg Basket, and really with investing in the future. And so where I wanted to take tonight's talk a little bit is I don't really set New Year's resolutions or goals per se. I really like to spend the beginning of the year kind of reflecting on the last year, on where I want to go and direction for the next year, trying to kind of foresee some things that may happen and be able to prepare for that, as well as just hopefully take steps further along in my life in the direction that I want to go. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight and what I want to do and where I'm taking the Grafted Branch Homestead. So you're more than welcome to enjoy listening to me and my rant this evening. Hopefully some of it helps some of you in some way there. You'll probably hear a lot of background noise as we are in a very urban homestead here. But not really diversifying your egg basket, or not putting all your eggs in one basket. And sometimes that can be literal and sometimes figurative. So literally, not putting all your eggs in one basket, what that's meant to me lately. So I give some people and sell some eggs on occasion there, and I sell them for $4 a dozen, whether it be chicken or quail. And that used to be kind of an expensive price, but I felt a good fair price for, the organic eggs that I grow or that I raise. But now that's become an extremely cheap price, as eggs in the market now are around $8+. And so not putting all my eggs in one basket can simply mean, we rely so much on the grocery store and on going there to get our foods. And so a couple years ago, I decided to diversify my eggs a little bit and raise some of my own chickens for eggs and for meat. And they'll continue to give you eggs for a few years and until you eat them, and then they give you meat. But that's another step I've taken to diversify my food chain a little bit, not always relying on the supermarket. Now, going a step further than that, in the urban homestead here, I don't have a rooster. So in order to keep getting eggs, I have to keep getting new chicks or eggs that are fertile to keep that running. So with self-sufficiency and diversifying it in mind a little bit, I decided to go with quail. So with quail, I can keep the roosters. I can continue the line, as this is the 3rd generation egg here that I'm holding. I can also control their environment a little bit better. Now, here in the Southwest desert, and with the way I do lighting and things on the chicken coop, my chickens continue to lay. Oh, how did I get my name? I'll go into that in a minute here. But my chickens kind of continue to lay all year. And actually right now they are laying almost every day, which is kind of unheard of, but we're getting a ton of them, and I'm able to bless others with those. But the quail I can control, and they can lay all year, so we have eggs even when the chickens stop. So that's one way of diversifying, just simple on that level there. And again, we went into gardening and food sources and diversifying from just relying on the grocery store and where you get your goods there to supplementing with the garden, with the chickens, with the quail, with other animals as I move more towards a self-sufficient life. And so diversifying in water sources. And so right now the rooster's beneficial. So we'll have one when we get land. But diversifying in our water sources, and so we're reliant on city water right now. Without that, we wouldn't be able to do the things we have here that we're doing. So while we look at land, water is definitely one of the #1 things we're looking for. So what I've done here to diversify that a little bit, though, so I don't have all my eggs in one basket, is we have rain catchment systems set up. I have 55-gallon drums of water stored. We also store a lot of bottled water and water filtration devices and things. So again, we are going by that old saying, is two is one and one is none. So some redundancies there. And I have a point into why I'm going into all this, so stick with me if you're listening here. but I have a couple notes here. Another one of the big things that not putting your eggs in one basket. We've been talking a lot lately, and here on the Urban Homestead, about where we're going to put money if and money and things, where we're going to put some investments. And so that really got me thinking. And that's really where I'm going to start spinning off into tonight's little talk here. And I will get to your question there, J. Mary, last one. Don't worry, give me a few minutes. But and so with money comes in different ways. Of course, you have. Now, let me give a quick little disclosure before I go on any further tonight. So first of all, if I give any financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor. You can take or leave what I do. That is not something I'm advising you to do. That's all on you. So there's a little disclaimer. Also, I am going to describe reality without blame. So there's a lot of channels and things you can find now as to why things are the way they are, why they're going on. I'm not really going to get into that too much. What I will do is to try to find truth in the reality of things and escape from the distraction that is set before us so many times, in how I address things. So with that said, talking about money a little bit. So you have fiat currency, dollars. Most certainly we need this. We need to save some of it and have some of it in order to buy land, in order to get where we're going. And in the civilization we live in, that is something that is needed. Now, reality is this is something that's depreciating. And I'm just going to give a little bit of facts right now. But if someone had saved $50, 50 years ago, that would have been worth a whole lot more to them then than it is now. And that's just because of inflation and the way things work like that. So that same $50 wouldn't be as much now. So saving money over long term, I don't really see as a necessarily really big viable thing. I think you need to diversify that a little bit. Looking at the world right now, when you look at the dollar bill, this isn't backed by gold or silver or anything like that anymore. This is just a promissory note. And so it used to be for a while now, since the 70s, I believe, we've been backing this on the petrodollar, or in short, other countries, in order to trade oil and things, had to use the dollar. And so right now in the world we live in, for whatever reason, reality just is that is slowly going away. Well, quickly now going away. And that, coupled with inflation and just the things we see in the world, while we do need money to acquire the land and things like that, I don't necessarily see it as a long-term thing. So when I'm looking at long-term, I'm looking at a war chest. I'm looking at wanting to invest in my future, invest in my family's future, in my kids' future, and in my kids' kids' future. So this isn't the whole of my conversation. And I do want to preface that the Bible says not to store up your riches in gold and silver and things like that. And that's for good reason. And again, this is just one thing in my egg basket in diversifying. So let me stick this fire a little bit here and then we'll get to that. There we go. So something I'm going to talk about here actually is gold and silver, just really quickly, in currency that way. And that is because CDB had won a coin. And by the way, if you're still waiting on some of the winnings that you've won, those will get to you quickly here. But she had won a coin and she said I should go into explaining it a little bit. And I'll do a standalone video on that. But gold and silver is not something that can just be taken away as quickly as the dollar, something that has been used all throughout history, and will hold its value. So this is something I look at in a real long term or for a real emergency. And so I don't buy it in huge amounts. The way it works is there's a spot price to it, and that's what you sell it at basically. You're going to buy it at that plus a little bit of a premium. So you do lose a little bit in storing sometimes. Now lately it's been going up in value a lot. What I do here is I buy a coin or two. I spend about $30 a month, and I have that in the physical asset. And I have that sent to me. Now, over years, that becomes quite a bit, and you can build up a little bit of a war chest. And that is something that can't be taken away like digital currency, or can't be lost as easily as with stocks or bonds or different things like that. It's not going to depreciate in with inflation and things as quickly as fiat currency. So that's something I can put away in a war chest and hopefully never touch. If there's an extreme emergency, I have a little bit to be prepared, but hopefully never touch that. And because that is an investment. So for as long as I am around, I'll continue to do that and stock some of that. And that is for when I'm not around, hopefully that's for my kids. So they have some options. And that's another word, something we're going to get into tonight. Tangible assets are important these days more than ever, from food, seeds, water, shelter, land, animals, skills, knowledge. Adding precious metals to assets is a bonus. Yep, Renegade, you're right. And so I want to provide options in investment for my kids and for my family. And these are some keywords I'm going to define in a moment here. But with that war chest, hope they can take that and hopefully not have to use it. But if they have an emergency, they can. If I've taught them right, hopefully they'll add to it. And that's something that, they say a gold coin, a couple 100 years ago or 100 years ago could buy you a suit. That could still do that today. It's been around forever, so it's just a bonus there. But hopefully they can build that war chest and then pass that to their kids. And there'll be something there as a little bit of a safety net and to give some options. Okay, now going away from currency a little bit and kind of like what you were saying there, Renegade, definitely is other things. So physical investments. These are things that are going to be invaluable, especially in the direction that I'm headed and Grafted Branch Homestead's headed. I don't know if you are, but so that's going to be things like tools, land, the things we need to provide and to get through life. And those are things that are only going to appreciate the more I use them and the more I need them. So definitely collecting things like that is a way of investing and diversifying the eggs in your basket. I'm going to go a little bit away from that now. We're still on those same lines, but so in the new year and most of this month, I like to look at direction and provide direction. And so that would be direction for 2023 and the Grafted Branch Homestead. Now, there was a really famous experiment done called the Ash experiment. It's a psychological experiment, and this was done, many years ago. And what it is basically is they would take groups of people, and everyone in that group would basically be an actor except for one person. And they would tell them it was a visual perception experiment. And so they would show them a line and some numbers, and they would say, pick the number that corresponds to that line. Well, all the actors were told to pick the wrong one or a different number, all the same number. And the participant, of course, was on their own to pick their own number there. So when all the other people in this that were the actors would say a line that was obviously 3 inches long, according to the measurement, was 2, and they would all say 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and they get to that last person, and overwhelmingly high. Sorry, there, people racing up and down the street. But an overwhelmingly high percentage of those people would go with the group. They would go with the flow, and that's because they didn't want to be wrong. And there's a whole lot you can go in depth in that psychological experiment. But with that said, I think with our society being so inundated with social media, with media, with the grocery stores, with just life how it is now, and doing the 9 to 5 and all these things, we are being pushed in a direction. We're being pushed in a stream, in a river. And as I'm getting a little bit older, I'm learning more and more so that I only have a certain amount of years here. And it's not that long. It's not that long for anyone. And I'm not going to be able to take anything out of it. And so the direction that I go and the investments that I make are ever more so important. And so I want to be going against that stream. I don't want to be caught up in that distraction of what's going on and the distractions the world can throw at you. I want to be able to, worship my God, to be closer to the land, live a healthier style, closer to my family, and these different things. And so that's a goal. I am going to rant some tonight, so I hope y'all will stay with me. But so we're conditioned to go one way, and frankly, I just don't see the way that the world is pushing everyone to go. I don't see it working. I see a breakdown of society. I see a breakdown of the family structure, of structure in general. People are falling far more towards anxiety and depression And I don't think the system's working. And so I'm on a mission to get away from the traditional here. And so whether you're doing it for health reasons and the benefits there, whether you're doing this stuff for self-sufficiency, for preparedness, for a food bank maybe, or charity type thing, if you're doing it just to learn and build skills, if you're doing it love for nature and animals, maybe you're doing it for spiritual reasons, or you're doing things looking not to be easier, but a better life. And so um, I'm looking to offer a better life for me and for my family and better options. And I did write a few notes just so I hopefully stay on track tonight, but I'm not quite as much in chat, so I apologize. But so yeah, like I said, we don't have too long in this life. No one does, and that is flying by ever faster. This world is becoming crazy. It really is. And the way I look at my life, the way the way I want to guide my family, and really everyone can, just for an example, is a lot like a river. And so in that river, you're going to have different spots in your life. You're going to have spots where you're kind of coasting, you're moving, and just staying afloat is what's important for you right then. Maybe you have a lot going on, or not a lot of resource, or some other reasons, but just coasting is what you need to do in life. There's lots of rocks, lots of rapids and bends. There's going to be a lot of things. The world we live in here. So let me see. I have a, yeah. Oh, thank you very much. CDB deleted message. Thanks, CDB. Appreciate that. We got some nasty people in here. But that, you're going to go through a lot of hard spots. Hard things are good in life. They refine you. My fire's dying down a little bit, and then you're going to go through spots where you're really picking up speed and you need to move. And that's kind of where I'm at, and the Grafted Branch is at right now. And so with that said, the first thing I need to do when I'm looking at direction and I'm trying to plan this year is I need to zoom out. I need to back out all the way. I'm going to throw a log on. And so I need to back out to the macro, to the whole picture. And with doing that, what's the first thing? Well, my stream needs a direction. And so is it going north or south? And most streams go south, but not all. The Nile, I believe it is, flows north. And so for everyone, that's going to be a little different. And just like the reasons you do these different things, or you want to do these different things, may be different, the direction you're going is going to be different too. And so really, that is your prime objective, or your motto, your what have you, that kind of guides you and should guide you in all the other decisions, the trickling down ones. Now, of course, I'm a follower of Christ, and so for me, that is going to be love God and love people, and everything else should follow under those two things. So that's going to be the direction of my river, and everything else will flow along that. And so then I'm looking at really, what am I doing here? What do I want to do, and why in my direction? And so, of course, we're looking more towards health, towards eating organically and better. We're looking towards self-sufficiency, being able to supplement and provide a lot for ourselves, as well as growing food for the animals and providing that stuff. I quit trying to understand why I made my own choices. Yep. And so we want to do it for those reasons. I want to do it for preparedness. I want to do it to give my kids and my family options. And I've said that several times, and that's for a good reason. And so really what I have to do is I have to define family, I guess, here really quick. And this is going to be, again, oh, looks like my camera may have gone blurry. I don't know. But this is going to be different for everyone. So family for you can, of course, be blood related. It can be, people that you've married. It can be friends. It can be close brothers and sisters. It can be people over the internet, maybe. The way I look at it is family is people. Most certainly, if you have kids, that's not an option. They are family. But family is a group of people that that I'm in contact with, that my life affects, that are around me, a closer group, my oikos. And that is a group of people that I feel responsibility to care for. That is different for everyone. That could be kind words, that can be financially, or many different ways. One of the biggest ways I look at is I want to be able to care for my family. I want to give them options. And so my purpose there, I think, is to provide the options. And so in this world we live, and even more so now, there are a lot of evil people, and evil people do very evil things. And with the way the world's going right now, in desperate times, even good people can do very evil things. When people are desperate, when they're hungry, when their families are hungry, or maybe they feel like they're out of options, they can do desperate things as well when they feel they're up against a wall. And so part of building my war chest, besides just having the silver and things like that, is I want to, well, understanding can bring knowledge, though lately is confusing. So I decide to observe as I do what I know, what I must do. And so part of building the war chest, I think, too, is being able to provide options for my family. And so in that, what I mean is some options have been taken from me, and that is because of choices I make, things I choose not to do, without getting into it too much, things that were pushed on people, that some people made that decision and some didn't. I didn't, but because of that, some options were taken from me. With spiritual things, I believe, I don't have some options in some things I eat. And if just in the world we live right now, eggs may not be an option for you because of the price, because of inflation or things like that. If you believe in the Bible and those things, then living a Christian life is going to be very hard, and many, many options will be taken. Revelation even says buying and selling, it will not be an option. And so I know when good people have empty stomachs, sometimes they can make bad decisions or choose options they may not have otherwise. And so part of me providing for my family, for diversifying my eggs in a basket, is I need to provide for my kid, do everything I do to provide for myself, of course, to provide for my family, to provide for my children, my children's children. And that is giving them options to be able to make the right choices and to have options despite what the world throws at them. So what that's going to look like for me is some land, some animals, a source of food, a source of water, a war chest with some emergency income. It's going to look at building something so that my children, my family, those around me, those that come, my oikos that I'm close contact with, I can help. I can provide food and fill that belly so they don't have to make bad decisions out of hunger or out of weakness or different things like that. So that's a whole lot said. That was really my whole rant tonight. I hope I got some across that I wanted to. I had so much, and I hope it came across right. I'm not slamming anyone or anyone's way of doing things. This is purely what I want to take my life more so, or some directions. All throughout the month of January, I'm really going to be looking at the last year, where I want to go and how I want to do that. And I think that's important. So I'm going to hop back and chat a little bit here before we do get out. Let's see. So Verna's saying, even in not deciding is an action, and all actions have consequences. And that is true. Yeah. So I hope everyone is having a good year so far. I think even if you are in a period of life where you need to be coasting or floating, still do it with purpose, still be planning, still be looking at yourself and what you do. I mess up a lot, and I don't follow my own advice a lot. Although if I did, I wouldn't need to be pushing myself towards these things. And so I don't know. That's just kind of what I felt was on my heart to talk about tonight. I had some things I wanted to show, some neat little devices that I had gotten, some new food preservation techniques that I've learned. But I'll show those either on another stream or in some other videos. Oh, and thank you. Yep, thank you very much, Verna, for reminding me how I got the name Grafted Branch Homestead. So I got it. So we do Sabbath dinner on Friday evening, and then we try the best we can to observe Sabbath on Saturdays, as I feel that we should. And it also does very good things for the family as well. But with that, my father had kind of instilled that and started to do more so on us. And so we got these little books that help us follow a routine. And sometimes I switch it up, but what I've learned more so lately is keeping in that routine really helps the flow of it a little bit. Not to be ritualistic, but in it, it talks about how we are grafted into the family of God, and through the sacrifice of Christ, me, this sinner, despite my genealogy, my actions, my now, when I say actions, I got to ask for forgiveness for things I do that are sin, and I have to turn from them and try not to do that again. I'll still mess up. By grace, I am saved through Christ. And so through Christ, I am grafted into the family of God. And so I get to be a grafted branch in the tree of God, if you will. And I say grafted because on a grafted tree, a lot of times you have many different branches that are grafted into it that bear different fruits. And the family of God's a lot like the same way, in that different people are meant to be, different parts of the body are meant to bear different fruits. And so I get to be a certain fruit that I'm figuring out what that is more and more every day. And I get to be grafted into the family. So that's where that comes from. And so shalom, J. Mary, last one. Matt, you and your family are doing an amazing job. Keep doing. Well, I hope I'm doing the right things. What I can say is I will try my best, despite all my failures, to move in the direction that I think is right and to do the things to once again go back to my prime objective and do everything I do to hopefully to love God and worship God, and hopefully to love other people as well. And so that was kind of a lot. And so, but thank you everyone for joining and for, for listening to me and all my rants. I don't know how much help it always is, but when I feel it put on my heart to go on one of those, I do, and I try to put it out the best possible. So we'll be wrapping up a little bit here. I hope everyone's doing well. If anyone, I do want to throw this out there. I don't hide my spiritual life or my love for God. I share that. I don't push people. Everyone's walk is their own walk, and decisions are their own decisions. So I don't say it all the time, and I'll get to your question in one sec. But I do want to throw out, if anyone ever has a prayer request or something, and that's something we always do Friday evening as well. So you always more than welcome to email me at graftedbranchhomestead.com, and we will do that. But let's see, question. No problem. No problem. You have a fire going. Oh, I'm an urban homestead and in the city. So we're on a little bit of about a quarter acre. I don't believe it's a problem. We're not under a no burn. I'm pretty sure I can do that. It's in a good stone fire ring here I've set up. I have the hose and a bucket of water nearby, all the safety precautions now. Oh, I don't know, 700 feet away or so, there is a gas station. So I do make sure I'm not burning paper or things that are going to cause ash to go in the air. I do fires pretty often. I really like them. There are no failures but lessons and knowledge learned. Yeah, I call them failures sometimes, but I actually don't see a failure as a bad thing. I can learn 99 ways not to make a light bulb. I actually learn a lot more from things I fail in than things I succeed, because if I succeed right away, I'm not pushing to learn to get to that success or that goal because I've accomplished it. If I fail a couple times, then I'm learning, I'm pushing, I'm researching, and a lot of times I can even overshoot that, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I don't mind failing at all. I fail all the time. I mess up, I sin, I'm in need of a savior. The things I talk about on here a lot of times is because that's things I'm pushing in my own life, not necessarily things I've accomplished. And so that's why I'm sharing. As with everything on this channel, I'm here to learn and to share that with people, and hopefully that encourages or helps you or even just entertains. Right. And so I didn't see Linda in here tonight. She won the Govee. I had some problems getting that to you this week, and those problems, to be 100% on, getting due on everything. But those problems, to be 100% honest, was just with my organization. So this is going to be to you very early this next week here, and then get you that coin over to CDB as well. Where I live, I have too many trees, and the best I can do is barbecue. When I was a kid, I loved when I had a fire to burn brush. I burn the brush, the scrap wood I'm always building, um, diversifying my heat source. I have my heater. I have propane heaters, little buddies and things, and kerosene heaters. I have firewood back here, so diversifying again. I burn paper products. I'm really careful what I burn because, again, with diversifying everything, um, I use the wood ash as a fertilizer in the garden. And so I don't want to burn plastics or things like that in there that are going to get those chemicals in the garden and in the plant. So everything has a purpose. Everything needs to have a purpose. That way I'm not wasting, I'm using. And again, we had a lot of problems this year with getting fertilizers and things, and that was an issue, or at least became more expensive. And so I looked into producing more things for myself here. At Verna, I hope you're still in here, and I'm sorry I dropped out of your live stream this morning. I was out and about and my phone died on me. So I do apologize. But in there we were talking a little bit about, I guess there's a problem with all the correct minerals in some chicken and poultry feed right now, particularly with Tractor Supplies Foods, I believe, and Dumar. And that was actually one I was using. And this is the first month I've switched from that to my first local feed store of the year that I'm trying out. So that's a plus, I guess, or a blessing. I've been pushing myself to research more so what the birds need in nutrition, and that with the long-term goal in mind of being able to grow my own foods for them. And if we're on land, I want to do chicken tractors and things, but I also want to produce sorghum, corn, wheat, berries, my own mealworms. That video I'm still getting to. If you're waiting for that, whoever it was that had asked for that, it's just a little too cold for them right now. For protein and then calciums and things, and producing my own foods for them. So this is only going to escalate that. Make soap. Wood ash is good for making soap. Wood ash is, and actually something a lot of people don't know. So out here in the Southwest desert, we have a plant called the yucca. They grow a lot of places, I guess, but we have a lot of them. And yucca root is an anastingent. I think I'm saying that right, but it foams up as well, and it's an antibacterial. It makes a really good soap. So you can dig up yucca root. They actually, in the Slurpees, not the slushies, but the real foamy Slurpees, one of the ingredients, actually, if it's not super artificial, is yucca root, and they use that to get it to foam up. So if Dumar, it's in Dumar and Producer's Pride. Okay. If you use those feeds, you and your birds have stopped laying, and I hear that's a problem for a lot of people from what I've been watching lately. Cook lentils and rice. Cool and feed to the birds. Excellent advice. Actually, my wife earlier today was saying we have a lot of lentils and rice stored up and on hand, and I do. I have a lot stored up and on hand. And so she's been looking at videos today on sprouting those and doing some sprouts. I have the fodder going again for the birds, as we finally have all the kale and the leaf lettuces and things that have been in the garden, the cover crops and stuff that I've been feeding to them that have still survived through the cold, are finally all gone now, so I have the fodder going. Flower petals, okay. Verna is full of advice. I have gotten more useful information, she has invested into my life and the homestead just by her advice. So Verna, I appreciate that. Let's see, sprouts would be good for you, your family, and all the animals you have. Yep. So this year we're going to be doing some more of that as well and getting into that. I actually know, I hope CDB's still in here, but CDB years ago, before I had started wanting really to garden or do any of this, had gotten me, and I think it came from my grandmother, to be honest. She would do it, and then CDB got me the same thing, but it was a jar sprouter, and so for bean sprouts and stuff. And so I've done that several times throughout the year from different people and different means, but definitely good and healthy for you. My fire's dying down a little bit here. I'm going to let it die down and just hang out and chat a little bit. Let's see, it's not super cold out here right now. Coyote gourd roots are a natural soap native to New Mexico. So Renegade, I know you're here kind of close too. So I don't know what a coyote gourd root is though. That is something I do not have a pen right now, but I will research. So um, something we started this last year is I got some foraging books on plants in the Southwest. And in between taking my oldest son to school and my youngest, we have about half an hour to 45 minutes sometimes. And so down by their school, some irrigation ditches and things. And so we walk up and down that. And one of the things we've been doing, um, we talk, we look at this little kid house that's out there that's fallen apart, but that we may want to build. We look at the horses and the different farms that are down there. We watch the ducks jump down in the irrigation ditch when it's flowing. One of the things we had been doing was going through those books a little bit and trying to find foraging plants and learning more about the local things that grow here. And so I think that's important to do. Let's see. Matt, when I don't know the answer to a question, I have to find the answer, as I can't rest if it gets in my mind until I find the answer. That's a gift. Use it. That's cool. Sometimes I'm sure it doesn't seem that way, but yeah. And so it looks like, let's see, I'm not sure how many people we have. We have 8 people in here right now, and I got 8 thumbs up. So I appreciate that, everyone. That definitely helps. If you're in here or you're watching on the replay, give a thumbs up, subscribe if you like what we have going here. I guess on side note to mention diversifying a little bit. Another thing me and my wife have been talking a lot about is how we're going to raise income on a homestead. And long term in our goal, hopefully raise it from the homestead, but of course having to continue working jobs and moving away from there. And really what we're coming to more so is diversifying. And so not putting our eggs in one basket. And that's going to be maybe selling soaps, selling seeds as we seed save. I want to put together some basic quail starter kits that I can sell affordably. So people aren't going to have to go find all these different little products. And then, of course, there's a book I'm still working on and doing some different things. I know on the homestead, hopefully we can barter some things. We want to get a couple cattle. I heard a good plan you can do is save to get two cows or two cattle, and you raise them both up and have one slaughtered and put in the freezer. And however you're going to preserve that for you and your family for that next year. And then you sell the other one off to someone. And with that money, you buy 2 new calves. I forget the term, but they're usually, there's a term you can get cheaper ones. But anyways, you buy two more, 3 if you can get it. Maybe you've saved a little bit of money. And you slaughter one, and then you sell 1 or 2, and then kind of continue along that line. So those are hopefully some things we can do. Let's see. I have been that way all my life, Ernest says. My mom used to say curiosity killed the cat, but I told her satisfaction brings it back. Yeah. Coyote gourds look similar to melons. They can be eaten if very young by humans and are a Yote favorite food. The roots are where the soap product is made, and Native Americans used it. You are full of great advice as well. Everyone really here in my streams, I just get so much great advice. I go back to this and I will research that. And that might actually be something I can grow here to help produce some soap here on the urban homestead. We've been looking at where the best place to end up is. Is it going to be in New Mexico or the Southwest or other places? I think initially, whether we're on our forever place or not, I don't know if that's where we're going to be going from here. I don't know if the next step is maybe an acre or 2 and learning some more there and learning to be good stewards of that and hopefully being blessed with more. I don't know or just moving to a bigger piece, but let's see. J. Mary, last one saying, I just looked up coyote gourds and it says they cannot be eaten, but can but the seeds can be. It says they're bitter. And she was saying if they're very young, okay. And so that's awesome. That's good to know. It's also good to know plants because I know like yarrow, which I've done a video on, is amazing plant for medicinally and for teas and things like that. But it can almost look like carrots. It can almost look like other plants. It can almost look like, I believe it's hemlock though, a very, very poisonous one. And so a lot of plants too can have very good purposes, but can look like ones that can be very deadly. So knowing what you're working with is very important. I think the moon has finally got out of phase here, and I'm on my laptop. It's almost dead. And so I actually have my little Blue Yeti, a 370B, I think it is, solar generator over here. Real small one I've shown in videos, but I'm going to stand up and plug my laptop into that real quick, readjust my camera so I can get the moon back in shot, and let's see what time it is. It's 9:20. I told my wife I was probably going to be on until about 9:30. Looking at the fire here, I think I'm going to be on for another about 15, maybe 20 minutes. Then I'll put the fire out and we'll head in. But give me just a moment to plug this laptop in. There we go. Let's see, is it on? There we go. Now it's on. I haven't charged this thing since I got it, really. I think once I charged it, but it's 70% power. It looks like I am drawing 76 watts charging my laptop. That's all that's on it right now. And that could go for hours on this little solar generator. So again, don't put your eggs in one basket. Diversify a little bit. All my chicken and poultry villages run off solar. Of course, our house is grid tied. But I'm slowly pulling some things away into solar. I put some solar lights on all my canning racks and on a lot of my canning racks, and they're putting them on much more. And then I have some emergency backup light bulbs. I have the solar generator and some little portable solar generator. Diversify. Matt, you will not know until it's available to you. Yeah, I'm not going to know. I kind of am going to have to go with the flow. And like I said last stream, something I'm really feeling this year is I just need to be ready. I need to tie up loose ends. Part of that is getting rid of debt, putting myself in a position where I can make those moves that I talked about tonight and make those investments. And so everything in moderation. Let's see. I have these gourds growing everywhere out here come spring. All right, I'm sure I've seen them. I'm sure they've been around here. Yeah. But you can see behind me are suka, or now I guess our gazebo now, but that we had built with my sons. This year we're going to be growing plants up and down those posts and up and down the poultry village and other parts of the garden. I'm really excited for this spring and summer. This yard just looks so beautiful, I think, and this year I'm really going for more of a vertical approach. I want to get things up quite a bit higher to block out a lot of the urban environment. And then, of course, with the thicker plant foliage and whatnot, that helps with sound and things as well. My projects, though, I am gearing towards finishing up things I've started, getting those working, and then doing some projects as well, just to keep us going. More so, I'm going to be focusing on being ready to go when that becomes an option, though, making things a little more portable, maybe, investing in some tools and things. Like I do want to get a chainsaw. I want to get another set of good shovels and things like that that I can use. Speaking of investments, I don't know, just kind of throwing this out there. It's something I've been doing lately, and I just ran across and so I thought of, but I'm not growing anymore. I'm at the age I'm not. I could care less about the current fashion. And so part of investing in tangible things, clothes is something, everything gets more expensive. but that's something that my size isn't really going to change. And so I've invested every month. For the last couple months, I just bought a package of of underwear and of socks. And now I'm going to be trying to get a pair of jeans or shirt every month, every other month, maybe every couple months, and just putting those away because I'm not going to outgrow those. But that's an investment that I can use when times are maybe harder. My wife really got me thinking, and I talked last live stream, but when we do get land and we do start homesteading, we are going to be working our job still to start, probably, hopefully not, but probably, and moving away from that. But times are going to be hard. Money's going to be tighter, of course. And so part of that is we need to get debt down. Um, and then I need to invest in having things stocked, food, those clothes, and things like that I talked about. So I'm not needing those things for a year or maybe a couple years until we really get off the ground. So those are things I'm thinking about now. So in addition to building skills and things here on the small scale in the urban homestead in my backyard, how to grow corn, how to grow wheat, how to grow garlic, winter things, companion planting, seed saving, how to raise chickens and quail, how to butcher, how to do these different things. I'm also wanting to invest in the things I'll need to bring with me, or I need on hand to get us through those harder times. Learning to sew, crochet, knit, and skills can be useful. So funny little story, for several years I was a men's tailored and men's furnishing manager at Dillard's, and I worked selling suits, and I worked really closely with the tailors. I actually learned how to sew when I was really young, but I can sew clothes, I can make bags and pouches. That is a skill I have. I know how to knit and crochet. They're not very manly skills, I guess, but I fix when my son needs me to sew something, or my wife. I'm the one that usually does it. My wife can too, but I'm usually the one that does all that. I can hem your suit. I can take in the seams. I can readjust it or let it out. That's something I can do. Let's see, there's some people in here. It looks like I may need the ban. You always get trolls. Let's see, how do I do this? Hide user on this channel. Goodbye, GF. So yeah, for the most part, people are welcome to say whatever they want here, but when it's negative or just has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, trolling or about something that is immoral or anything like that, you have no place here, and you are going to go. Saying used to be men did all those things. Okay. Well, I can do a lot of things. I guess a lot of people. I've worked in kitchens. I've worked sewing. I guess it's a lot of the things I am newer at are the things like I've never been hunting or things like that. I have the quail and the chickens so I can get their eggs, but also in parts so I can learn about butchering and about killing and things like that. I need to go hunting and do some of those other types of things. But I've been, I guess, pretty much a city boy most of my life until I still am in the urban homestead, but I'm trying to move away from that. I'm going country, trying to. But my fire is dying down. So I am going to get some water and put that out in a moment. I've shot bow before at camp and things. I could if I have to. I'm not proficient in it. That's actually something about 2 years ago I was looking up. What I really need to do is find a mentor or someone that can teach me. I guess at the most I've been fishing some. I've never killed anything with a bow, but I can shoot it. I do have all the tools I need, uh, and seeds I need to do all those things. And I do have some skill in that. I just one of these days need to go on a hunt. I can build a fire. I can build a fire without a match or a lighter. And then, of course, on this channel, I'm always showing skills. I like to do things without electricity as much as possible, even though that is something that's important as well. But practice makes perfect. Well, thank you everyone for showing up. I still have, I think, like 9 people in here, but Renegade and Verna and J. Mary last one, CDB, everyone that's been in and has showed up in the chat. I appreciate you all so much and the fellowship here. Hunting is only good as the wildlife are available. And that is a good point. And that's actually why I don't focus on that too much. New Mexico has some wildlife. It's not a lot. And if I'm looking at it from the SHTF standpoint, I guess, that's a lot of people's plans. And that's not a very good one because that's going to be a lot of people's plans. But yep, everyone have a blessed night. You guys have a good one. We'll see you next week. I may come on in the morning with my son. If so, look for that. If not, you guys live a purpose-driven life. Do the things. Stay strong. I'm going to take my face off here and put the fire on, and I'm going to put that out with some water, and then we'll cut feed. But you guys all have a blessed night. Shalom, y'all.